Hey, how's it going? Okay, I'm recording. Whoa, shoot, I'm gonna knock this over for sure. I'm recording on two separate cameras. I'm actually using my camera. I'm so excited. I got my computer fixed. Only thing is, will I be able to upload from the camera to the computer? Because I was never able to make that work before. Maybe it'll work now that my my computer is fixed. So anyway, I have some cards. Oh, I'm looking for them. And in my last video, I had said that because my rapidly declining vision is trying to make it impossible for me to do this, I realized, hey, I can magnify stuff on my phone. Let me take a picture of them. So that's what I did. Okay, I'm very pleased with myself. So I have two cards from the Mary Magdalene Declarations of Mary Magdalene deck. And the first is the number 24 card. And shoot, all of my phones are in use, so I can't look up the numerology on that. I can tell you if you go to Sacred Scribes, Joanne Angel Numbers. Oh, the camera just went out. The screen just went dead. What do I have to do? Keep touching you to stay on? Okay, obviously I don't know something about that thing. Well, anyway, if you go to Sacred Scribes, the 2 is going to be like double the energy of the number 1, which is the master number. I've talked about that before. And it has other attributes, which you can look up at Sacred Scribes, Joanne Angel Numbers. Both names work. And so 2 is double energy of the 1. 4 is double energy of the 2. But the 2 does represent balance, and the 4 represents just in the vaguest sense, the most umbrella sense of foundation. Okay, so the card reads, and now the camera shut itself off. Thanks, but you shut your screen off. I'll get it figured out. For thou that seek lust outside their sacred partnership are thou that have misaligned from thy sacred heart. So, I mean, clearly that sounds like they're talking about someone with a partnership, a relationship. And so, for the topmost definition you could go with there is like, don't cheat on your partner. If you do, but you would know this. I have to say, if you were inclined to cheat, you would know that you're misaligned with your partner. And so, what makes that happen can stem from so many things, and it ultimately is all gonna be on whomever the person who's out of alignment. It's gonna be on them because the other person stayed in alignment, and the one that needs to stray out of lust has something going on. They have to seek help. Unless they don't want to preserve what they entered into, which is a sad thought for the partner who, I have never known in advance that I was being cheated on, although you do get a feeling. So I take it back, maybe I did know, but then I would not have trusted I didn't trust my senses enough to, he was easily able to talk me out of it. Well, sort of. I should have known that it was deflection more than anything. When the first defense is you're crazy. Okay, first of all, I'm not throwing shit at you or screaming at you or trying to, pummel your body with my fists. So stop with the crazy. That's baloney. That's something I've heard from every dude that ever cheated on me. When I confronted him was, well, you're crazy. That's beside the point, okay? that's an adventure for both partners and the third karmic partner as well, because that's what they call the other man or woman in the spiritual woo-woo dating scene. But yeah, it's about also like for both people the lesson of being betrayed and being the betrayer, and the third party is also gonna get their form of education as well. So, so I'm not talking about like a love affair or anything at all here, but what this card brings to mind for me is that in a relationship, often promises are made, especially at the beginning when things are all shiny and new, and it's like your first bite at the apple. In this other context that I want to speak of, because I'm thinking of like our commander-in-chief who loves to make deals and is always demanding loyalty, and there's something off about both of those things if you are familiar with the commander-in-chief and you're not overcome by whatever it is that makes them love him so blindly, the MAGAs. They do snap out of it though, so there's hope, you know. I mean, we all get swept up into something, maybe not to the degree of like culthood, but that's certainly what it is resembling the MAGA base. So to them, mainly promises were made, like to everybody else in the country, well, they don't like me, so I'm not talking to them, is the attitude that I feel like the left and anybody who just is not on his side, that I feel like that's what they can expect from him. But he's not a good marriage partner. I mean, he has stuck with this last spouse for a really long time. But I would say that I don't think he can stray much at his age. I know that he has a devoted assistant who seems to be inappropriate about it, but I don't know, like, if that's sincere. I think it's a mismatch. I think it's weird, unless there's some ulterior thing going on. At least she may well have true affection for the guy, but to be intimate with someone like that, he's so much like bile in the form of like negativity and like name calling and, you know, negatively and untruthfully characterizing people. And it's like, that's the whole thing. That's the whole policy platform right there. You don't get anything at all done without a barrage of insults for the listener, the questioner, the whoever. Like, it's abuse from everybody who's not saying the abusive words. And so, I mean, I feel like he's a terrible partner. Like, okay, I don't want to say it, but bad lover. That's been said, though. I don't know. But I think that if you can't get enough pressure to get the wiener up in the air, you ain't gonna be much of a lover. I don't think he's generous. I'm sorry, but I can't picture him doing anything like to make the partner feel any good, especially if he doesn't get to. So he can't be trusted with business deals either, because they're like packaged in untruths, just stuff that's not true, wrapped around like every promise. Every gift bag has like coal and sticks and rocks and like lint in there instead of beautiful, shiny, flashy, swag. It's more like slag in there. Pardon. So, I mean, I feel like he's like the epitome of having he's like a bad relationship partner. he made all these promises and you know, pretended to like everybody, and then turns around and does whatever he wants, which is usually not at all to the benefit of all the people that he made all of the broken promises to. But I guess that's an American thing. Make a treaty as the president and break that promise. Do not follow through. Do not pass go. And you'll be doing exactly what's expected of you, which is a damn shame, because that is not a precedent I would like to continue. And I think enough is enough already. Certainly everybody else in the world is sick of us. He's made sure of that, to alienate us with everyone. So even our allies, our business partners, they've been insulted. They've been betrayed in many ways. He's just, gosh, I mean, even the people that want to associate with him find themselves in trouble with the law, because they decide to associate with him and make deals with him, I guess. So, you know, if you haven't figured it out yet, warning, you don't do stuff with the guy or he's gonna, let you go to prison and he's not gonna help you. Look at, Rudy Giuliani, Steve Bannon, both of those guys, when they were in the prison and when they got out, he just talks about them so bad. They must really be getting something out of the relationship, though, because they still, fuck with him, and I don't get it, but that's just me. So that's the vibe I'm getting from that card, and it kind of makes sense. I gave my examples. Alright, so the other card, wrong direction, is the number 44, and that gives you an 8 if you add the two together. 8 is strength. I always think of the number 8 tarot card of the Rider-Waite deck, because it has the woman in a nightgown or something, and she's prying open a big cat's mouth like a lioness, and seems to be putting her face real close to those teeth in that mouth, and that is something you don't do when you are a stranger to that big cat. You learn. I think my cat is trying to get in, actually. He's outside. Hold on. Well, I am certainly mistaken. He's not out there. It's nice and sunny, and it's pretty, decent temperature, maybe 78. He's living life. He's living his best life right now. He don't want to come in. So anyway, the strength card, and so there's more to it, certainly than a newspaper horoscope version like I'm giving you right now. But I only have so much time to say what I want to say and do the cards and whatever, so I can't just be on here forever, because it would be too long, for one thing. I don't know who's hanging around to watch any of the long ones. I actually don't look at the analytics, because when I have looked, it's oh, that's a bummer. So I'm just not going to look. Okay, so the number 44 card reads, For thou that fear Mary Magdalene the Christ, fear the true powers of the divine feminine and thy sacred heart. So at the end there it says the divine feminine and thy sacred heart. So that means that male or female, you have divine feminine aspects in your sacred heart. And that is your youiest of you heart, your truest, your most authentic self. Authentic to yourself even. You're not going to be putting anything over on yourself when you know better at heart. That's the place where your sacred heart, that's where the stuff that goes in there lives. I gotta learn how to make this screen stop going dark too fast. And so, as far as the rest of it, for thou that fear Mary Magdalene the Christ, fear the true power of the divine feminine and thy sacred heart. So, like, what are you afraid of? Like, we are talking about your own heart. Like, it's you. We're talking about you. And so, why would you be fearful of the spirit of Mary Magdalene and like the Christed power? I guess you could say the Christed knowledge that leads to power, or leads you to your power. So, I feel like it's sort of like a fear of failure thing, except no one's talking about failure here. You can only fail up. That's what you get when you get intimate with your own heart. You can really only fail up, because you can't be in that place and not be authentic and honest with yourself. It's where the shadow work begins and ends. You smell something fishy, oh, that's bad shadow, gotta go deal with that. And then when you're all clean and shadow free, you come back to the heart and, you deposit the new wealth, I guess. So I think that regarding the other card, if you're gonna be unfaithful, untruthful, like a bad partner that can't be trusted because you don't know if they're sincere, you don't know if what they're saying is true. I think what both of those things are saying is these are things to acknowledge, because they're not like spaced out and weird. It's like maybe the phrasing is different, but the message is not, it can't be foreign to you, because it's very basic. It always is with these cards, and it's just kind of like those simple little like phrases, like, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Like, treat people the way you want to be treated. And if you don't treat people like crap, you're gonna like attract more people that are of a like mind. Like, they don't want to be treated like crap. They want to be nice and be treated nicely by people. Like, it's not hard. They have something you want. It's not yours. You can ask if you can, like, hold it, touch it, use it, whatever, but it's theirs, and if you're meant to have one, then maybe you should direct your attention on that rather than, so much so on this other person possessing this thing that you kind of want. Which, if you're gonna go like that way, you're likely to follow up with, well, they shouldn't have it, I should. And where that leads is no good. Like, you can't be taking other people's stuff. You have to get your own, unless they consent to let you borrow it, touch it, whatever the hell the boundary that they let you cross. But otherwise, you're not meant to have it. It's not not that one. Get your own, and it's great. And so, right now, there are many things happening at once, as is always the case, but they are all like kind of momentous, and one way or another, like, you may not know about it, like, one thing in all of the changing momentum personally, or you might know of it, or your person that might tell you about it that brought it to your attention, but it's not an easy time if you're sensitive at all, if you're empathic at all. It's kind of hard right now because there's a lot of old stuff resurfacing to be, I hope finally dealt with, because what crappy feelings it's giving. like you feel bad having the feelings and knowing like the stories that the feelings brought up, and the past is that way a lot. Like good times, yes, but also bad times, not great times, not times that you want to relive. But every time, good or bad, there's something in it for you. There's some lesson, some meaning, some breakthrough, some epiphany, and it may not, you may not realize what that is immediately, but it doesn't even matter, like, what the experience is across the board, like around the wheel of emotional choices or whatever. All of it, if you have the willingness and the understanding that, well, yeah, that sucked and it hurt me, but it wasn't all for nothing. Like, you will learn something from it. You'll be repaid for your efforts. Okay, so, yeah, I guess they were saying, like, the cards, bad partner, bad, honest, true speaking partner, good, and then the other is, I think, talking about internal strength, like and being aware that you have that, being conscious of the fact that you control whether you're using it or not. It's all about, like, your choice. Like, what will you do with the knowledge that you have power to exert or influence to give, or to a situation? Like, what can you be adding? And then always to do that, you want to be your best self. You want to be your most emotionally, mentally healthy self. So that, like, the betrayals don't hit you like a log over your head. Like, one of the things you could be gaining from the bad experiences is, like, a harder shell, or the knowledge. Like, sometimes it takes a while to sink in that, like, I think we have a tendency to expect someone else to do it first, or take care of it first, or to be in doubt. That's fine. You can be doubtful, but if you kind of know what needs to be done and you kind of know what to do, go ahead. You got to start somewhere. Like, nothing's going to happen if you never start. So, and that includes taking risks, and you do have to be, like, mentally aware and socially aware and situationally aware at all times. It just might not come naturally to you, and you might have to sort of, like, exercise and work out those muscles and make them useful. But you have all of these qualities that are just sort of, we all do, and they're just sort of laying there because we don't really, we will not even give ourselves credit for, like, having the potential, and that's kind of sad. But so there's a lot of stuff happening, and in a lot of ways, I feel like what I was talking about with the Declarations of Mary cards play into how you're going to present when it comes time to confront these things. And there's a lot of things happening that are getting us, like, in flames. But, like, one thing I notice that happens quite a bit when, like, if I'm watching political news or just someone trying to talk about it, I just feel my heart rate going up and up and up, and I'm like, nope, I don't want that. Like, it doesn't even matter what they're saying anymore. Like, once it starts doing that to me, I'm like, whatever, I'll find out later when it's less, like, hail down the roller coaster. I don't need all that excitement. The world is exciting enough, and I feel like maybe my example is goofy, and you could, serve yourself up a better one. Be my guest. I'm just trying to get a point across because I also pulled a card from my the body oracle cards, and they concentrate on literal body parts. And I always feel like when you're feeling stuff deeply, especially with so much going on and there's so much heaviness, and there's even good stuff happening too, or surprising stuff. Like, here's something that I've been thinking about a lot, and I found out about it like this past week, and I am just still experiencing it, like learning about it myself. There are all these videos about it from the point of view of like black people and the point of view from Jewish people, which could be white to any color. But what the talk is about is, and this is not new news, I guess, but I guess it's new in the way that people are open to, like, even hearing about it, which is, I feel like a pretty big step for us, for we human peoples, and that is the admission by a surprisingly large number of clerics and lay people alike that there was, like, just about everyone in the Bible whose name you know was somebody black. Like, everybody was black, I guess, everywhere. You know, from the Middle East, Africa, and Europe, just black people everywhere. But I guess moving to areas that were not as hot as those places where black people originate from, you know, where they got into like the north of the globe, or, you know, the places where they're like, the countries are mostly white people. Those people, I guess, were black at one time too, but, you know, the sun and the snow and the glare and whatever changed their pigmentation on their skin and their eyes. And I guess the hair too, I don't know. Does your hair have to be straighter in the cold, like in the snow? I don't know. But anyway, so that news, which has been in, I guess, the Bible, even the King James and the Ethiopian Bible, which is the show that I was watching, was about the Ethiopian Bible, which has, it's complete. It doesn't have books removed from it the way the King James Bible does. And so, and I know there's like black-skinned religious iconography, just not in Europe or North America. I've totally seen those things pictured in South America. I think Africa, but it might have been Brazil. I think it was Brazil. They're probably in Africa too, you know, but these are the places that I was looking at for some reason, where I wasn't looking for that. I just happened to be in whatever else I was looking at, and I was like, huh. And you know what? When I saw it for the first time, I didn't, like, that was literally my reaction. I was just like, huh. It didn't surprise me. I wasn't like, oh my God, because I know there's been whitewashing of like, even like Renaissance paintings have been whitewashed. It's really just like it is here now in the United States. The narrative that they want you to stick with and live in and believe in, all that stuff, is not true. Like, basically everything we learned in school. Well, I'm 62, so it was different when I went to school, but I already experienced it when I got out of high school and started looking at, like, I didn't go to college, but I had friends that went to college, so I would, like, look at their books or go with them to the library and just look at whatever books. You know, I guess you could say I just sort of piggybacked a little bit of a junior college education, but it was there too, like the pictures of the people. And then, so like, I'm not like a scholar so much of that stuff, but like the people I was watching were the scholars. They were clerics and like archaeology scientists that deal with ancient texts. I'm sure there's a more concise name for that field, but those were the kind of people that were there, you know? And so they're like reading bits of the text and then translating it and explaining what those people were talking about. And they weren't explaining it in such a way that it was like, here, this is what you should think. They were just saying, this is what it says. That's it. Which is a nice change when you're hearing stuff come out of a cleric's mouth, I think. And so another part of that is like the white Jews, or the Jewish people, which there's something there too that's a sort of a discrepancy, because black people are scattered everywhere. There are some in Israel. They have a completely different background from every other black person in the world, from what I can discern. But that's not what I really want to talk about. What I want to talk about is that those people in Israel are known as Israelis and Jewish. And this cleric was saying, well, the black people are the Israelites that are spoken of in the Bible. They're not Jewish, they're Jews. But mainly they're known as Israelites, but they're Jews. Like, he kept stressing that. And then I was thinking of, like, George Santos, who lied and said he was Jewish. Like, he's not a Jew, he's just Jewish, like, Jew-like. And that's what this guy was saying, not the George Santos part, but the distinction of the word meaning. And I was like, that's interesting. And what they also said that I found very interesting was they were talking about like white purity and white blood purity, hereditary and all that white people are very concerned with. Well, it turns out because there's such an aversion to black people, they just started mating with each other, all different white people, so they're not exactly pure. They're not pure Irish or pure Italian or pure Swiss or whatever it was, is what he was saying. And black people, and this was my addition, it was like those people don't want to fuck with us, mostly. Like, they're like, ew, we don't want to touch you. So black people's blood is pretty pure. Like, the pure blood they were talking about is usually the black people, because they also don't want anything to do with white people like that. I know, you can look at me and go, well, that didn't happen in your case. I'm not arguing the point. I'm just saying what I saw. I'm just saying I'm just saying the words. I'm not like queen of the program or, making things happen. I'm just sharing what I heard. But, I think that, well, from the little bit of the video that I watched today with the, Hasidic Jews, like very Orthodox Jews with the payas on the side, the little curls that come down. There's other, like, wardrobe things where you can pick them out, know that they're super Orthodox. But anyway, they are not happy. Those people are not they're a little kind of racist on the black people. Not everybody, but a lot of them are. Judging from the way that they would cross the street when I was coming. Like, grown men crossing the street. What am I going to do, mug you? I'm 12 years old. But yeah, that's what I'm looking to see. Like, how are these guys going to, like, deal with that knowledge that you ain't the Jews? You're not even the chosen people. And whatever with that. Like, that chosen stuff, I think, goes right to people's heads and messes them all up. That's how we got capitalism. So, okay, the card from the Body Oracle is the nervous system, and how perfect, because we're all like we're on like our last nerve. We're like, all of our nerve endings are inflamed and irritated. So the nervous system, el sistema nervioso. Clarity. Something I was talking to somebody else about later about clarity. Maybe I'll share that with you. But anyway, the subtitle on this card reads, "You know when you know to..." I can't get the last few words. Hold on, let me grab the glass. Oh, here it is. Nope, that's not it. See, I'm unable to see. I'm unable to see well. Alright. You know when you know. Oh, that's in Spanish. It says when you know in Spanish. Well, I mean, you cannot miss the nerve endings. You cannot miss the jumpiness, the involuntary jumpiness from being so jacked up. I mean, I think it's really important to remember to breathe. There's a real simple way to like calm yourself down in like a couple of breaths. And I believe it's known as box breathing, but you breathe in for 4 counts, 4 beats, and then you breathe out for 4 beats. I would suggest you take nice deep breaths and, don't rush the exhale. Just sort of let it flow out, like without you pushing it, like involuntarily. Just let it come out. And once you get used to doing that, it only takes like a few times. I was a skeptic myself with the whole like count to 10. I was like, yeah, right. Because I know I just go directly to 10. If I get mad, then I'm going there real fast. To the anger, like nothing else is going to happen. I'm not saying that I'm going to like get violent or anything. I just like get mad really fast. That's all I'm saying. But for me, that is like a symptom of being too nervy, of having like irritated nerve ends. And we have those, and that refers to like physical, like, I guess like injury, sensation, affected areas. But it also is like when you can't take one more thing, like you're just in a mood, like don't come over here bringing me any kind of nonsense. Like I feel like it just pushes you to that place of just utter disgust, and you're at your end, at your rope's end. But the clarity it's talking about is you have, like when it comes to your nervous system, it just goes to the place it has something to say about and lets you know, like it'll hurt or it'll burn or it'll be numb or it'll be tingly. It's all like a communication system, and it is the nervous signals that give you the information and the clarity to get, that much closer to locating and defining like whatever the ailment you're having is with your nerves. But as far as it being clarity, like the other ways that it's like emotional and it's like somebody's getting on your nerves, or you're on your last nerve, or you're so nervous that, you're jumping because a sound happened next to you. I feel like those are all manifestations of anxiety, Not funny. Don't know why I'm laughing. Because a lot of us are having like real emotional problems right now. It's very difficult financially for a lot of people. If you have children, you just gotta be a nervous wreck. Like, where is enough gas gonna come from? This kid's gonna keep growing. They're gonna want to eat everything. They gotta wear clothes. They gotta wear shoes. I gotta have a job. We gotta live somewhere. Like, everything is hitting us all at once. And it is like an attack. It's designed like attack. And it does feel like an attack because I think it is an attack. I think it's a way to destabilize us poors because we had the nerve to, my goodness, say anything at all uncomplimentary about the really wealthy people and the tech bros that are kind of like putting their hand on the levers, you know, putting their thumb on the scale. And they, oh my gosh, the more they talk, the less brilliant and intelligent they sound. Like that's the advertising, that's the buildup you get, and then they come out and say dumb stuff, which I'm not going to repeat. You can go find that yourself. Like, I'm not doing that. I don't do that kind of channel. I'm like the political stuff, that's for others to do. Oh, this one doesn't go up there. I'm just taking off my stuff like I'm done. Well, yeah, I'm pretty much done. I think I talked your head off. Thank you and good night.